Hey Bookies, today we are going to talk about, what would you call this? I guess horror book recs for the season. So let's get started. So I pulled off a lot of random books on my shelves. As you can see, the shelves are looking a little bit crusty at the moment. Not gonna lie. But I wanted to share some books that I thought would be really good suggestions if you're looking for something that's a little bit more of the horror genre, especially with the spooky season about to happen, or is happening when I am posting this video. It's still September right now. Anyways, let's get started. If you're looking for something that's kind of along like the video game vibes, but still has a lot of horror elements, I recommend the Fazbear Frights series. These are little short stories. I think there's like 12 in this series now, and then there's the Tales of the Pizzaplex stories that's happening, and then there's the Silver Eyes one, the trilogy. Anyways, all involving Five Nights at Freddy's, the whole scary puppet genre thing. Yeah, really scary, but really good series. This one is the first one that's called Into the Pit. One of the stories in here features a time-traveling ball pit. They all feature either new animatronics or returning ones, and a whole variety of different scenarios that totally expand on the Five Nights at Freddy's universe. Next one that I have is The Project by Courtney Summers. This is a little bit more of a thriller vibe, but it still has some kind of horror elements, especially if you're like into Midsummer. Midsummer is basically about a cult. This one is along the same lines. It involves these two sisters, and after a tragic accident that killed their parents, they are slowly engulfed by this cult, and it's told in different POVs, switching a lot between present and past and future, stuff like that. So you get to see what happens to these girls and why they are important to this cult, and kind of like a lot of the mind games that goes into how cult members operate, especially cult leaders. So yeah, if you're looking for something along like the Midsummer eerie vibes, The Project is going to be perfect for you. If you're looking for a classical ghost story, then I'm going to recommend Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. In this one, our main character, they are trans. They are in this family of witches, and they are wanting to become a brujo. But the family is not very accepting of their transition, and they don't really like condone what our main character is wanting to accomplish, which is basically just being themselves. So they hold a there's a ritual that happens to mark them becoming a true bruja, whichever they decide to become. So they decide to do the ceremony on their own with their cousin when things go terribly wrong, and then they have to assist the help of a ghost who is there to kind of try to fix the transition of them becoming a brujo, but also they are trying to solve what is happening with this malevolent spirit that kind of cropped up during the ceremony, and also what is the mystery behind this ghost that popped up. It is a super good paranormal book. Also deals a lot in like the romance genre. Super good. I highly recommend it. Another one that leans more kind of into like the poltergeist kind of vibes is The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. In this one, our main character, he can kind of see dead people. We're going to Sixth Sense here. He can see dead people, and he's not really in control of his powers. He doesn't really want them. He doesn't like it, and that kind of gets exacerbated when our main character meets with this malevolent ghost called Sawyer, who was a school shooter that took their own life, and they are looking to exact more revenge. So you get a lot of backstory on Sawyer, and it's It's a great book. It's pretty short. I think it's only, yeah, it's just under 250 pages. So super short read if you're looking for that, but very action-packed. And again, a lot of poltergeist vibes. Also kind of reminds me of American Horror Story Season 1. If you know, you know. If you're looking for something about demonic stores that also kind of resembles the Poltergeist movie, especially the first one, you're going to go with Horrorstor by Grady Hendrix. In this one, our main character is a minimum wage store worker at the store that is IKEA-like, but is a competitor to IKEA. They are very fed up with this place. They want to go and do more things. So they put in their 2-week notice. Well, they get a chance to get out of the 2-week notice a little bit early if they agree to do 1 night shift. See, every time that they come in and open the store, some of the furniture is broken, destroyed, vandalized in some way. So they're thinking that people are coming in at night and vandalizing their property. So they're wanting to try to catch who's doing it because it's becoming a recurring thing and it's starting to disturb the customers. However, things are not as they appear, and they find when doing the night shift, our main character and this group of other employees that she is with, that it's not vandals that is doing it, it's demons that are haunting the store. Very kind of poltergeist vibes, but in an IKEA setting. This book, like, it's really well designed because it looks like an IKEA catalog, but also, like, there's so many, like, little hints to the ending throughout it. The illustrations are great. They're fun to look at and everything. The story is just really captivating, and it's completely action-packed. Like, once you start running from the demons, you don't stop running. And just, it's great. It's great. I highly recommend this one. If you're a fan of The Thing, from like the 1980s, I think it's a movie. But yeah, gelatinous blob in the Antarctic that is absorbing people into it, you're going to want to read It Looks Like Us by Alison Ames, which is very The Thing-like. This group of teens is on an expedition to Antarctica. They're doing like a work study with this company that's wanting to study the microplastics that is being absorbed into our environment by looking at how deep they have kind of been absorbed into the Antarctic ices. But things start to go really, 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 really wrong. Really wrong when one of their members comes back from kind of a late night expedition, and something's not right. Their face is falling off their face. Literally, their face is falling off their face. And they develop a snout and everything. It's very eerie. It's very creepy. It's action-packed. It's everything that a good monster book should be, because the monster is not easily defeated, and you're constantly questioning, because the book goes is between like the past and present. You're constantly questioning what is going on, what happened, and where is this monster. And by the end, like, it leaves a lot more questions than answers, which is what a good monster movie book should do. Highly recommend this. Alison Ames does wonderful with horror novels. I highly recommend you check out their other work. Speaking of other work by Alison Ames, The Bricket Covenant. If you're looking for something that has Resident Evil vibes, this is going to be your book. Resident Evil is a game franchise and movie franchise that is actually based on a true life Pennsylvania town, I believe. I believe it's in Pennsylvania. But there was a mine eruption that happened. There is a fire that is constantly burning underneath the town. It made the land unstable, basically, and they cleared everyone out. And I think it's spewing a little bit of sulfur into the air. So that was like the baseline for the Resident Evil franchise. Well, Alison Ames took that inspiration and made it into a book. Basically the same thing. There is a mine that runs underneath the town, and dark things have happened there. People have gotten lost. Mining expedition teams have disappeared or otherwise wound up dead. It is a hot spot for ghost hunters and the like, which you get to see a lot of them. A lot of different ghost hunting teams go and explore the town, and various things happen to them. But the true plot of this involves this group of friends who have experienced some of the spookiness of the town, that they still all live in it, but when one of their friends decides to go into the mine, it's kind of like entranced by it. They have no other choice but to head off and to figure out what's truly going on. Again, a lot more questions and answers resolved in this, and I think that this and It Looks Like Us all revolve around like a deeper lore and like this multiverse of Alison Ames books. But I love the vibes of this, and it's a perfect read if you're into like Resident Evil type storylines. Next up, if you're looking for something that's a bit of a slasher but you're wanting like a summer camp vibe, I'm going to recommend The Counselors by Jessica Goodman. Jessica Goodman, all of her books are kind of slasher-esque, as evidenced by her books. All of her book covers have blood on them. As evidenced by the book covers, something on Jessica Goodman's book covers is always bleeding or covered in blood. I don't know what hurt Jessica Goodman. I would give you a hug. But anyways, that's basically what I said. There is something slashery going on at this summer camp, and when teens start turning up dead, especially in the lake, which kind of gives like a whole, is it Freddy? No, it's not Freddy. Jason? Is it Jason? I always get them confused. I'm sorry. But anyway, so when teens start turning up dead, especially in the lake, it's up to our heroines in this book to figure out what is truly going on. I can't wait to read this one. Me and my husband are going to buddy read it. If you're into something that's just a little bit witchy, I'm going to recommend All Our Hidden Gifts by Carolyn O'Donoghue. So this one kind of gives me like a little bit of Death Note vibes, which is super good, apparently from what I've heard. But our main character can do tarot readings, and she has like very scarily accurate results with them. But it starts to turn a little bit malevolent when bad things start to happen after her tarot readings. Super good. Also can't wait to read this one. I am very excited for it. Hello, I'm back and now it's daylight. Funny how that happens. Anyways, another rec if you're looking for zombies is The 11th Plague by Jeff Hirsch. All I know about this one is that it has zombies and it has a really cool cover. I like dystopian feels. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but here's a zombie book. Somewhere on this screen, my husband has suggested Feed. It is, what, a zombie book?
Zombie post-apocalyptic book.
Zombie post-apocalyptic book. Also, trigger warning, I know that there is some animal death in it. Just be aware. Very adult. Be aware. Anyways, moving on. If you're looking for something that incorporates slasher films, horror films, stuff like that, I want to recommend The Mary Shelley Club by Goldy Moldavsky. In this one, our main character, who survived a home invasion just barely, by killing her attacker and, you know, living. She gets, her and her mother move to a new town. She gets to start at a new school and everything. And she befriends this group of people. What they mainly do is that they watch horror movies together, and then they sit and like discuss them and stuff like that. But there's something a little bit more sinister about them. They play tricks on other kids at the school. And it's not like, you know, shaving cream in the locker type of tricks, but it's like tricking people to fall off the roof kind of tricks. As the tricks get a little bit more deadly and our main character is pulled further and further into this group, she starts to see what it really is, and she doesn't like what she sees. It's very interesting. I highly recommend it. I really like zombies, if you can't tell. So another one is Eat Your Heart Out by Kelly DeVos. This one I thought was really good because it not only incorporated zombies, but it had like a cabin in the woods type of feel, but it also incorporated a lot about social commentary about plus size, fat, stuff like that. In this one, our main characters, they are going to a fat camp, some of them kind of against their will. So they're being driven up to this fat camp. They get there, and first of all, it's like remote as hell. But second of all, the kids there are acting a little strange. They're eating like this kind of paste stuff, and afterwards they're dropping weight. Like, they're just shucking off clothing. They're doing it super fast, super dangerously. And then things start to go really bad. Really, really bad. But yeah, totally cabin in the woods type of feel of a book. Very well done. I absolutely loved it. Highly recommend. If you're looking for something that has like Rose Madder type vibes, I'm going to recommend These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall. In this one, our main character and her mother are estranged from her mother's side of the family. They really don't communicate with that side of the family a lot, and our main character doesn't know exactly why. Flash forward, her grandfather dies, and so they finally decide, okay, maybe it's time to go to see them, you know, because death in the family. Anyways, they get there, something happens, and our main character is made like kind of like the lady of the house. She's in control of the house. There are stipulations. It's really weird. There's weird stuff going on with the house, but also it ties into a couple of the disappearances that are happening in town. It's a very well done horror thriller novel with lots of good twists and turns. I recommend it. And then lastly, if you were a fan of the Sabrina TV series, either the 90s version or the most recent Netflix version, or you are a Sabrina comics fan, whatever, I'm going to recommend the book series. These are by Sarah Rees Brennan, and she does so good. These are kind of little tie-ins in between the Netflix TV series that talks a lot about stuff that happened kind of in between. It fills in some gaps and everything. It's really well done. I absolutely love them. And a couple of the stuff that happens in the TV show happens in the books. So it's in way better detail, stuff like that. These are just such good books. So I recommend them. Alright, so that is books I'm going to recommend that you read for the Halloween season, some horror book recs, whatever you want to call this video. I don't know. I might just label this video, I don't know, here's some book recs. Anyways, so thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye!